Hi there folks, welcome back to the IB and Andy Fishing channel. I hope you're doing really well. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit the subs button. That way you'll be kept in touch with all the fishing, all the reviews, all the live streams and all the other stuff that IB and I get up to on this little channel. If you're a regular subscriber, thank you very much for joining us again, really appreciate it. So I've come back out to do some fly fishing. I'm going to stress straight away, it's super local. This is about a mile away from our front door, and it's kind of a follow-up to the vlog that I put out last week on the very small stream. I'm not fishing in exactly the same place, it is the same stream, but what I'm going to do is try what I didn't try in the previous one. I had mentioned in that vlog that I thought at points that I could possibly gone with the suspension indicator technique rather than the European style technique that I went out with. So that's what I've come out to do. I've just come out to play around for a few hours, and what I've done is I've created kind of a hybrid rig, and I just very quickly want to explain why. So I feel at the distances I'm going to be fishing today, I really don't need fly line. So what I've done is essentially taken a French leader and turned it into a suspension rig using the sliding indicator system that I've detailed previously in vlogs. So all I've done is scaled it down a little bit for this type of venue, so only a couple of pieces of foam. It's not going to have to suspend particularly heavy nymphs, and I'm going to fish it European style rather than casting it like a fly line. I'm going to fish it Euro style, short to medium range presentations, and this way I can make the presentations I want, make the drifts I want using that suspension technique, but without having to use fly line. The reality is that the casts I'd be making here would be so short, I'd get so little fly line out of the tip ring that I'd never load a rod anyway. This isn't something I've done a whole lot, particularly how I've rigged today is totally new for me, but this is one of the fun things about having a little bit of extra time is you can come out and try stuff. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to jump in the water behind us, tiny little stream, hoping for half a dozen grayling again. That'd be great for a few hours fishing. Let's go. Okie dokie, first pool of the day. Let's just slide down here. I must admit, I haven't fully figured out how I'm going to play or land a fish if I hook one, but it just looks too good to walk past. It's very squidgy underneath my feet. I've only brought flies with me from the Clearwater pack, so at the moment I've got a pink tag on the point and I've got the orange collar hairs here on the dropper. And just ping that out there and keep an eye on that indicator. Good water this. There's a sunken branch there which I need to avoid. Haven't quite hit that far bank yet. I think that's where they're going to be, up against that high bank. Unfortunately, there's quite a lot of stuff sticking out, so I've got to avoid quite a lot of grasses, stuff like that. It's quite difficult for them to get there. I'm hoping for one early, like last week, just to settle the nerves, just to reassure me that they are there. Indicator system's working fine so far, I'm seeing it really well, but as of yet, it hasn't gone under. I need to get a bit further over here, I'm sure I do. It's just difficult with those grasses overhanging. Maybe a couple of bow and arrows. Just help them to avoid that rubbish there. That's better. That's the one. That's where I need to be. Okay, let's try that again. 3 or 4 of those will probably tell me as much as I need to know, and I can start moving. Give myself a little bit more line. This is where having ridiculously long arms comes in handy. That's nice, that's over there. That might be a bit too far over, that one. Wow. We take a step or two upstream. That's a great area. No bueno. Okay, that's that first pool done with, but we've got a lot of time and a lot of space. Amazing how a river can change just in a couple of yards, isn't it? I've only come 20 steps up and now we've got this nice foam line. Nice gravelly bottom, bit more depth. This is the kind of stuff I was expecting to be fishing today. I have got a lot of cover at the rod tip. Casting here is not going to be very easy. I also may have a point fly on that's a bit too heavy. Caught the bottom on each drift so far. Keep an eye on that. Slight. Oh, there's a fish. There we go. Virtually as soon as they hit the deck. That's cool. That's a grayling as well. Nice. Oh, good fish. Nice fish. Just knock that drag down slightly. Lovely fish. Alright, how am I going to land you? Oh yeah, quality grayling. I think I can get the rod tip up over my head here. It's taken the pink tag. It'd be great to get one in the net early. Plodding upstream. Not pulling back too hard. Just letting the rod do the work. Oh, not quite. If I lose him now, I'll regret that one, because I had a good chance netting there. Come on. Come on. Oh, I've seen the net and gone again. Strong fish. Strong fish. Just loosen off a little bit more line there. Come on, bud, that'll do. Yeah, lovely grayling. What a start. That is. What a fish. Definitely the biggest one I've had out of here yet. That is a beauty. Well, this is definitely the start we wanted. Little cracker. Very, very lively. There he is. We'll get him back. That's freaking awesome. Now that is the start we wanted. That was freaking awesome. What a fish. Interesting to note there that it took it basically within a second or two of it touching down. Those flies wouldn't have been on the deck. Suggests that maybe these fish are feeding, so I think we'll spend some time in this area. These flies are ticking along. That's not a fish. I'm reluctant to take that pink tag off because that's the fly that got eaten. Nice long bow and arrow up there. Let's just see. Flies are down. Ticking beautifully. Nothing that looked particularly fishy, but ticking along really nicely. Ah, it's so close to that tree there. I need to not hit that tree. Oh, I think that might have been a fish. Might have just felt a little bump there. That buried properly. Further over maybe, just a touch. No. Great water in front of me. Really good water. Made quite a lot of noise and disruption doing the B-roll and getting shots of that fish, so it could well be that I've upset the pool a bit in the process, but well, I might not catch another one of those today, so I think it was worth getting some cool shots of. One's a little bit less far across. Ooh. Getting to the point where that indicator's burying every time. I have got a small amount of adjustment down. It's only a couple of inches. Just wonder if it might make a difference. I've got the option of shortening the rig. I can fish this as shallow as I want within reason. We'll give it a go. Just reduce slightly. Don't want too many false indications on this. This is one of the big problems with fishing suspension nymphing. So you have to strike when it goes under. Oh, there's a fish. There we go. I have a feeling that's a spotty. What we got? I know, it is a grayling. Real little grayling. He's taken the orange collar hairs here. That's cool. Tiny little guy. Totally the opposite of the one we just had. Just as welcome. Where are you, bud? Flies falling out in the net. Tiny little grayling, but very welcome. Good. Good. Already enjoying this. That was interesting in that it was quite a long way down the pool. I kind of wasn't expecting there to be fish that far down, so that perhaps gives me something else to aim at. Too many false indications here. I'm going to have to go lighter on that point fly, I think. Okay, so I've gone for a fly change, but I actually went for a double fly change in the end. So I've now got my baby pink on the point and a size 16 Duracell on the dropper. So relatively natural coloured flies. I also changed the rig a little bit. I've shortened the distance between the indicator and the first tippet ring. I don't want to be fishing over depth. More than anything, just resting it for 5 minutes would have given these fish a chance to relax. Pool won't be quite as spooked as it was. Had a couple of fish out there, done a fair amount of striking. That went through basically without bobbing or twitching or anything, which suggests that maybe I'm fishing this a little bit too shallow at the moment. I'm not going to fish at this back end of the pool for too long. I'm actually quite keen on working up because there's some great water above me as well. But I just want to try these different flies, these two different flies out over the area I've already fished, just to see if the fly change will draw another one. Oh, that was a fish right underneath me. Wow. I'll be honest, I kind of struck there assuming that it was the bottom. It was a pretty lazy strike. It was more of a, oh, if I have to strike. But actually there was a big thud as I struck. Man, he is like right in front of me. Ah, Andy, lesson learned there. Don't rule anything out. Just got to keep moving up. I'm desperate to not hit that tree because I know the second I hit it, that's going to be that one done. So really don't want to hit that tree. I lose it completely just as it comes past me. The amount of times it's gone into that glare and then not come out. Just not sure whether it's getting down fast enough. I'm actually considering putting that pink tag back on and maybe a red tag, something a bit heavier than the 0.5 I've got on at the moment. I know I've only just changed it, but I would like to see it getting down. I know that where I'm casting from now, I'm actually casting up into slightly shallower water. That might just give me an opportunity. Ooh, I reckon that was a fish. Yeah, I'm casting onto shallow water there and then it drops. So actually, it probably drops with the contour of the river. There's a fish. There's a fish. There's a tree. So maybe I don't need to change it just yet. Tiny little grayling. Come on, bud. Hey. That one ate the baby pink. I'm not going to win any specimen hunter prizes, but that's not what this is about. This is about catching a few fish from a new venue. I always like to see a change in depth in the gravel when I'm fishing for grayling. Any little pots or holes or areas like that, you tend to find them in those. So this in front of me is absolutely dynamite. This is perfect. Ooh. At some point I'm going to have to figure out a way of getting some casts slightly further across here. There's depth on the far side. There's going to be fish over there, I reckon. It's just very difficult for them to get there without clanging the branches of that tree. Oh, that was the bottom. Just for a second I thought that was a fish. Right, a couple more steps up. Great pull this. The question is, can I make that cast that I want to make? That's a bit further over actually. That might do it. That might be okay at that. Okay, I'm going to increase the depth of the rig slightly. I'd see a bit more evidence of that getting down in that area directly opposite me. So we'll just slide those float stops. I reckon I've probably added another 8 inches there. You know, we're talking small amounts in a little place like this. You don't have to add another 2 feet. Let's just see if that stays down. My feeling is these fish are going to be rooted to the bottom. That's the area. It's just ticked the bottom, so I know it's down, but it's still moving. That's why we've changed from the Euro leader to fishing with the suspension technique. Is it'll just, oh no, it's a snag. It'll just hold it off the bottom slightly. Hopefully I can get this out. Spoke too soon there, didn't I? Ah, damn it. Let's see if we can very quietly go and get that. Okay, so the last time you guys saw me, I was kicking my flies off a snag, and what I've done actually, I've not moved on, I've just waited 10 minutes. I've gone for a double fly change and I've just given the pool 10 minutes to chill out. I haven't got lots of water available here, so I've got to make good use of what I've got. The feeling is there will still be fish in this area, just would have upset them for a few minutes. So I'm going to go back in, double fly change. I've got a red tag on the point and I've got the mini pink quill on the dropper, so 2 totally different flies to what I had on before. Just see if resting this pool might have just relaxed the fish a little bit, because me walking across there definitely won't have helped. Unfortunately, the last 5 minutes a couple of dogs also went in. Quite a long way further upstream. I don't think it'll have done any major damage, but probably won't have helped. I really want to fish this area here. It just bowls out at this point. If there was a big grayling kicking around, it'd be somewhere around there. Just a bit of depth up against that tree. Really surprised if there wasn't a fish down there. There we go. I called that. That was cool. Pretty sure it's a grayling as well. Yeah, it is a reasonable fish. Shot straight downstream this time. I'm going to try and hold my ground and see if I can draw him up slowly. It's a reasonable fish again. Similar size to the first one. Just thought that there'd be one over there for me eventually. Yeah, nice fish. Nice fish, there we go. Good stuff. He's taken the mini pink quill. That little dropper's a cracking little fly, that is. There we go. Get him back. It's nice, that is. I had a feeling there'd be another one over there for me. It's just a question of getting those flies in the right place often enough. Little slot above me where I can get the rod to make these bow and arrow casts. I'm not sure I'll be able to fish this area otherwise. Important tool to have, that bow and arrow. It's worth learning. It's pretty straightforward once you've got it. Definitely worth learning, particularly if you're fishing small waters like this. Okay, so half an hour or so in, and I guess first few observations about the fishing and the rig. I'm going to focus on the rig first. So it seems to be working alright actually. One adjustment I did make that I hadn't mentioned previously but will now. For the join in between the Euro leader and the tippet, I've actually used a little micro swivel rather than a tippet ring or a blood knot. The reason I've done that is I was concerned that with the thickness of the Euro leader being at 0.21, the smaller nymphs might not be able to pull that line under. So the addition of that little swivel there, actually, I've already noticed it's pulling under the Euro leader, the thicker part of the Euro leader. The tippet is sinking no problem at all, so that's worked quite nicely actually. It looks a little bit clunky, it's probably not ideal, but it works okay, so I'm quite happy with that. In terms of the bite detection itself, yeah, absolutely fine. I'm having the problems that you associate with using a suspension nymphing technique, is that I'm having to strike more than I'd like to in truth, and always with these suspension nymphing techniques, the striking is a little bit loud, it's a bit noisy, you know. Your alternative is to not strike, and obviously you can't do that. So generally I try and avoid fishing a suspension nymphing technique if I can help it. I try just to use it in slower, deeper water. Hello. But actually it's worked out alright so far. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm catching fish, it's nice and sensitive. Would I have done better there on a Euro leader than fishing with the suspension technique? I don't know. I guess the one big difference, the one major difference between today and last week is that so far I've caught very few snags, whereas last week I was catching snags a lot. So maybe that's a little plus point for fishing this style of suspension nymphing. Doing it on the Euro leader is working okay actually. The one bit that I've noticed that's frustrated me actually, I really wish I bought something with me to be able to get the Euro leader floating. Some gink or some mucilin or something, because the Euro leader just above the indicator is starting to sink, and obviously that's going to affect the buoyancy and sensitivity of the whole rig. It's a little lesson for me there. I should have bought something with me. I may be able to find a fix around it, just drying it on my sleeve or something every now and again. Some good water upstream of me. I'm going to crack on, try and catch a couple more fish. Okie doke, so found a really nice long gravelly riffle here. Definitely on the right side of it. This is a bit more akin to the kind of water I was fishing in the other area last week. Picked up pace a little bit and gravelly and rocky. I guess this is where I'll find out if the indicator system that I've gone for today is actually worth it. Let's see how many times we get snagged up on this different rig. Oh, there's a fish. There's a fish second it hit the water. That's a good sign. Literally the second it landed. And it's a Grayling. I guess in this instance, yeah, the indicator worked fine. Just retrieved a bit much there. Come on, bud. Oh. Come on. Yay, there we go. Got trees everywhere. Uh-oh. Let's have a look at you. It's taken the point fly, it's taken the red tag. There we go. That's what it's about. First cast in a new spot. Bit of depth just there, that's nice. Good area this. Great looking area. That's not a fish, but it could have been, so you got to strike. Oh, Andy. Lost my concentration there for a second and whacked the tree. Got away with it. Indicator actually went fully under then. And I just kind of watched it. I don't know what I was thinking there. Pop a little cast up there. That's nice. Dog's going ballistic behind me. Just the one from here so far. Felt like I could possibly have done a little bit better in here. Okay, so I've kept pretty mobile, and in truth, for the last couple of 100 metres I haven't really found a lot. But then I've arrived at this pool here, which looks absolute money. It's got a change in depth, it's got some gravel, it's got a foam line. This looks really fishy to me. Let that one swing down there a little bit, but I think to get the most out of this one I need to get in and try and get casts upstream of me. It's going to be a tough one, this. Let's figure this out. Don't think they need to be long. That'll do it. Perfect. That's ticking the bottom. There's the fish, there we go. There we go. What have we got? Guessing from the jumping that that's a spotty. Yeah, little brownie. Little brownie. Ah, oh, pretty little guy. Taking that red tag. Pretty little trout, but hopefully he's got some Grayling friends in this area. Just knew there was going to be a fish in this spot. It screams fish. Nah, just a little micro spot. Maybe there was just that one trout in there for me. Good looking area in front of me. Again, the challenge here is just going to be getting the flies in the water. It looks fantastic. I'm just downstream from a bridge. The river here is a little bit artificial on account of the bridge, so it's deeper and a bit wider. There's a nice bubble line. Battling the trees at the moment. Ooh, got away with that one. I'm in that tree now. Come on, Andy, hold it together. That's better. Just wonder how far upstream I could make some of these casts. Oh, that's a good cast. It's a fabulous cast. Showing any... Oh, there you go. I was just about to say I'm not showing any great signs of getting down, and then it did. That's that solved. Oh, there we go. Wow, that absolutely flew under. Oh, it's off, and I'm in the tree. It was a trout. It was up against the tree on the inside just here. Not in the tree too bad. Yeah, it was right up against the tree. It wasn't a Grayling, so no biggie. It's nice to get a take, especially to justify a cast like that. Righty folks, I've done a walk there, maybe half an hour, just checking out the river, trying to find the places that I think Grayling are likely to be sat in. And in truth, in the area that I'm fishing today, I haven't really found anything else. There was only one or two spots on this whole stretch. There's maybe 400 metres of water here, but only one or two spots on the whole stretch that I really thought looked like likely Grayling spots, and they both produced fish. So the truth of the matter is, I've fished the piece of water I wanted to fish today. What I have done is mark a huge amount of water that I think looks really trouty. Was able to resist the temptation to fish it all. I'm going to leave those a couple of months and then come back, perhaps with some big pheasant tails or a micro streamer or something. I think there's some opportunities here for some really cool trout fishing, but it isn't that time of year, so I've left that well alone. In terms of what I wanted to achieve out of the day, I actually think the indicator system worked all right. I've definitely snagged up less than I did last week. I think there'll be a few different factors there. Obviously the fact that this place hasn't got that horrible plastic mesh that I was catching the hooks on is a big thing. It's slightly different water here as well in terms of the makeup of the river, so there probably weren't as many things in the water to snag up on as there was last time. I've hit the trees a lot more this time, that's for sure. I was very proud of how few times I hit the trees in the last video, but actually in this one I spent as much time up in the trees as I did in the water, so there's a little one for me. I definitely could do with a 9'2" weight for fishing water like this, kind of European style. The 10 foot is too long. 9'2" weight isn't a rod I've got, but I think it's something I'm going to have to look at picking up in the near future because it'd be perfect for little rivers like this, and we've got a few of these locally. So at that, guys, that leaves me with nothing left to say apart from thank you very much for watching this vlog. Really appreciate it. Don't forget, if you've enjoyed it, please give it a little like. Also leave a comment, let us know what you think of the river, let us know what you think of how I fished it. Do you guys have a river like this local to you? Have you fished it? If not, why not? Get out there and try it. You never know what's in there. As you've seen today, there are little secrets lurking in these streams if you're willing to put the effort in to go out, do the miles, hit the snags, hit the trees, lose a few flies. Eventually you'll find some fish. I promise you they're there. IB and I are going to see you guys again very soon for some more fishing and stuff, but until then folks, take care and goodbye.